This episode of Talks with Tom is sponsored by Nike. Nike, make it in sweatshops. It's cheaper that way. And I don't blame them. I would probably do the same fucking thing. We got reported by the Neighborhood Watch the first time we hung out. Just put yourself back the first time you went over to hang out with the friends that you actually enjoyed in high school. The excitement, the energy in the air when you're going over to your friend's parents' house and it's all the friends that you just vibe with and you're about to go hang out. That was this night. Me and I think 6 or 7 of my buddies were going over to, we'll call him the Beef's house. We go to the Beef's house. We're shooting hoops. And the writing was on the wall for this. Now that I tell the story back, like originally didn't think anything of it, but we had all been doing stupid shit in neighborhoods before we were friends. So you knew going into this night that it was going to go down like that, but we weren't thinking that way at the time. So we're shooting hoops at the Beefs. Sun is setting, and they lived in a new-ish neighborhood. It was one of those neighborhoods that was half built. There was still a ton of construction going on, and there was a lot of big open fields of woods and stuff like that around. A lot of cover. I suddenly look over to my right, and my buddy, we'll call him Griff, is doing the thing with the t-shirts where you take them off and you turn them into like a ninja ski mask type thing. So Griff is tying a ski mask t-shirt over himself and just starts walking shirtless with a ski mask into the field. And it was just like nature calling. The other 6 of us are on the way into the field. We're going to fuck with the neighborhood. Like it was never even spoken. We were just like, go. As it gets dark, we're in the neighborhood. And the funny thing about it is there's 6 or 7 of us, but we've never fucked with the neighborhood together. So you don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of an unpredictable environment. You don't really know how this is going to go down. I've ding-dong ditched a couple houses. Griff's done the same thing. And our buddy Beef had this crazy and military strength laser pointer from his dad. So bright green beam, just poof, poof, poof. So you could sit almost damn near half a mile away and just peg these houses. We have done like 3 or 4 houses, and our buddy Lenny, who was a pretty quiet dude, just goes, "I'll show you how to ding dong ditch a house." He had kind of a high pitched voice. Thomas, let me show you how to ding dong ditch a house. So he goes up to this house, and there's like 5 or 6 of us in the woods. And I cannot even tell you how hard we laughed. To this day, I just laugh just thinking about it. Walks up, starts banging on this door. Not only is he aggressively, like, two-handed banging on the door, because me, I'd ring the doorbell, maybe yell something, I'm out. He would bang on the door. The whole time he's banging on the door. Penis, penis, penis! He just keeps getting louder. So we are laughing hysterically because this dude would literally bang on these doors and scream penis, boobs, whatever, until the fucking porch lights came on or all the house lights came on. Like this dude would stay up there, it felt like forever, just penis, penis. You can't not laugh just thinking about that shit. So he would run away, and I cannot describe to you the adrenaline rush of running away from something that could potentially get you in trouble. As a high schooler, you're thinking, fuck, if we get caught, you're in trouble. And you're just thinking, oh my God, we're going to get caught. We're going to get caught. Because even though we were in phenomenal cross-country running shape, if you've ever been in one of those moments where your adrenaline's pumping, you're running away from something, but whatever just occurred, you're laughing so hard. So he would run out in front of us, and he would be faster than us because he was used to banging on the door at Screw Petus. It was a total shock to us, so we are all laughing hysterically while trying to run away because you just couldn't get a hold of yourself. So we would doing this for a couple hours where we would run away, go to the bushes, and when the people would come out, we hit them with the laser pointer, just all over them. And Beef's parents thought we had gone to the high school across the street to watch a football game. I don't even know if there was a football game going on, but that was our scapegoat to go into the neighborhood. So as we are getting ready to call it a night, wrap it up, we're walking back. And this neighborhood, since it was being built, they had almost like these cut-through sidewalks where half of the house wasn't finished, so they had a sidewalk that would go from one street to another, but it would go right past, basically through the backyard of a house that had been built. So as we're walking through, it's all 6 or 7 of us. 2 of our buddies are fighting over the laser pointer. Well, I swear, this one, not even intentional. I swear on my life, not even an intentional moment. The laser pointer gets shot up because they're fighting over it. One of them presses the button. It gets shot up into this second-story window. We didn't think anything of it. We've been doing that all night, right? So we keep walking. As we get to the front of the house, all 6 or 7 of us, this guy comes out on the porch. Who's just shined a laser pointer in my wife's bathroom. And we're like, whoa. You're like, oh man, dude, this guy thinks we're like perving on his wife. Like we couldn't even see where the laser pointer was going. We didn't even mean to do it, right? But I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, don't run. Well, of course, all my buddies run except for me. And I am a great bullshitter when I have time to prepare on what I'm going to bullshit. But if I'm put on the spot, horrible liar. Always have been. Never. I've cost me and my friends many getaways because I'm a terrible liar. So I turn around. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And he's like, what's your name? What's your name? I'm like, Thomas. He's like, where'd all your buddies go? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you live in this neighborhood? Nope. Live in another neighborhood. We're just cutting through this one. Mind you, any other neighborhood would be at least another mile walk. So it makes no sense, right? He's like, where are you coming from? I'm like, I come from the football game. He's like, it's an away game tonight. Like, oh, fuck. Shit. And all my buddies, I don't know where my buddies are hiding. So I'm like, I could have easily run away. I don't know why I didn't, but here we are. So he's like, what's your last name again? I'm like, because at first I just said Ziegler. I'm like, Thomas Ziegler. And he's like, what's your last name? I'm like, Ziegler. And I like stretch out all these ridiculous syllables in my name. He's like, what is it? I'm like, I just told you. So he starts grilling me with all these questions, right? Like, how old am I? Do I live in this neighborhood? Just keeps, and I'm like, no, I don't live in this neighborhood. But I can't tell where I live because I don't know any other neighborhoods around. So I'm just like, I don't live in this neighborhood. Do your buddies live in this neighborhood? No. What are you doing? I'm just visiting some friends at the game. Like, just keep bullshitting. I try to just like skate through all this bullshit. I'm like, okay, sorry for disturbing you. Seriously, it was an accident. It was one of our phone lights. I'm just running with this, trying to get out of the situation. He seems to be cooling down. I turn, like I'm about to leave. He's like, all right, we have a good night. There's a construction site right over to the right of his house. They're obviously building another house or whatever they're going to do over there. There's a porta potty and like the equipment and all the gravel and dirt piled up. And you just hear, no. Boom. Porta potty just falls forward. And two of my buddies are standing there. And I'm just like, run. So we all go running through the construction site into the field and the woods over to the right of this dude's house. So we huddle back over there. And I'm like, oh my God. And we get over there. Beef's like, what happened? What did he say to you? Because it's Beef's neighborhood. So I'm sure he's tweaking. I'm like, I told him my real name. He's like, what, Thomas? Why would you tell me your real name? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I fucking panicked and I didn't know what to do. He's like, we got to come up with something. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. What should we just go back to your house and tell your friends? No. We got to come up with something. Okay. So we're all brainstorming on what to do. Me and Griff have the brilliant idea. Let's go back to his house and let's tell him my real name, which is a fake name, but I'll tell him that that's what I was going to do, even though that makes no sense. So we go over, and again, it's just high school logic. The other 4 or 5 of our buddies are in the woods. Me and Griff walk right up to this guy's backyard. We go into this guy's backyard, up to the sliding glass door. We see him and his wife sitting there typing on a laptop, which we found out later was the neighborhood watch page on Facebook. But we're like, oh, this is our chance. And I had taken my shirt off, and Griff showed me how to do the ski mask thing to myself. So 2 masked high schoolers, shirtless, going up to this back porch. And I'm like, like just thudding on the glass window. Him and his wife both so dramatically. And I'm like, oh my God. What am I going to do? So I just think of like the biggest douche at our school at the time, at least the kid who was the biggest douche to me. And I go, my real name is and we take off running. Okay. So we're literally laughing like a couple of fucking idiots. We go back and they're like, what happened? I'm like, I just yelled so-and-so's name. Let's get the fuck out of here. So we go running back to Beef's house. And that was pretty much it. We called a night, go in, played some video games in Beef's basement, bullshitted for a couple hours like usual, go to sleep. Next morning, wake up, come upstairs, we're all sitting there. Mrs. Beef, nicest lady, makes us breakfast. And then she's like, so what'd you guys do last night? Oh, we just went to the game. She's like, really? Because the neighborhood watch page on Facebook has been blowing up since last night. And the description is you guys. And we're like, really? Of course, me, I'm like, oh, it wasn't us. And she's like, really, Mr. Ziegler? My name is butcheredly spelled, but you can still clearly tell that it's my last name. And it's like the description was these 8. I wish I still had the messages. Beef might still have the messages, but it's like the description of us was like this gang, like this group of 8 hooligans and their ringleader, Ziegler. That was like my criminal name. Ziegler. So we're cutting up laughing, right? And Beef's parents didn't really care. They were a little like, dude, we're new to the neighborhood. Come on. But at the same time, they were like, it's whatever. So we're downstairs reading all these messages because people were just ridiculous. If I would have seen them, they would have got a face full of lead if they would have tried to dig dog ditch my house. Or like, so these perverted young men looking at Doug's wife, and we'll call that guy Doug. That's the name of the guy that originally reported us. So they're just like going on and on these ridiculous tangents. And I think Beef's parents were even like, it's a bunch of high school boys joking around, like this is normal behavior. And then people cooled off or whatever. But we found the guy, Doug, we'll call him Doug, who originally reported us in the group. We go to his Facebook page, and he's got some daughters our age. Now, if we were the menaces that we were later in life, probably would have immediately hit up Doug's daughters. But we ended up making a fake Facebook page. And it was the dumbest fake page. Like, the fake username was some woman's name, and the profile picture was an Aunt Jemima syrup bottle that was at Beef's breakfast table. I don't even think he ever accepted the thing, but it was just so funny, like, looking back on it, that we were doing that as sophomores in high school. And I guess that's one thing I'm super thankful I grew up in the 2016 era, because I truly just don't think kids are allowed to be fucking kids anymore. Like, they're not allowed to joke around. They're not allowed to go have fun. Like, you have to understand that, especially from high school or below, most kids' perspective, super fucking innocent. Like, you're not thinking about everything in terms of politics or race or religion. And nowadays, kids just aren't allowed to do anything without offending somebody. And I just think that's so unfair. Like, you don't give kids any opportunity for air and growth and maturity because they're immediately just being force fed all this ridiculous bullshit that is really blown out of proportion in a lot of cases. Like, you don't even get a chance to grow up and be a kid before all this shit is thrown on you. So I hope by the time like people like me, our parents, that stuff turns and that kind of get that generational change back to just letting kids be kids without everything being a hate crime or offending somebody. Like, it really is getting blown out of proportion. And I don't think that it's actually people like your normal day-to-day people. I really do think the media and the government and all these people that are in high, powerful places are just sending down bullshit to keep the American people divided. I could be totally wrong, but it just seems more and more obvious that that's what's going on. Like, they want us to hate each other for our religious differences or our race, whatever it is. Like, young people really don't see the world that way. At least we never did. It didn't matter what color you were. It didn't matter who you were hanging out with or where you came from. Like, you're just a kid like us. There is no difference. We're all Americans. We're all equal. And I think if you could take that innocence and that naive, I don't even want to call it naive, but just that ability to look at the world with an open mind and realize that everybody's walking a different path, but at the end of the day, we're all the same. If you could put that up into the places of power, man, the world would be a much better place. So that's my rant. I don't know where that really came from, but that's, I guess, what we're talking about on here today. And also, shout out to whoever recognized me at B-Dubs. I apologize if I was awkward. That's the first time I've ever been recognized as Talks with Tom in public, so it just caught me off guard. But I do appreciate that. I appreciate all the love and support of everyone who follows me on all platforms. It's like I said, this is my dream. I love doing it. I'm running out of my parents' basement right now, but hey, I love doing this shit. I think it's dope, and I love telling the stories. And that's another thing, since I'm on it. You can't hide from your purpose in life. You can't run from who you are. I think regardless of how hard people fight it, there's two ways to look at life. You can build this fake image of yourself and try to be something that you're not in order to prove yourself to people who don't really care, or you can stop fighting yourself, face that voice inside of you that's telling you to do whatever your passion and purpose is in the world. And I should clarify, I'm not saying like if you have a voice inside that's saying murder or rape people, like that's the wrong direction. That's not a positive impact on the world. You probably need to go figure out what's going on there with a professional. I don't want to say I'm encouraging that, but I do believe everybody has something that they're uniquely, naturally good at, and it's a gift from something bigger than what we will ever understand. I believe it's God. I'm not saying you have to, but I do believe that we all have gifts and abilities and talents unlike anybody else. It's just a matter of finding your lane and doing that in a way where it's going to have a positive impact on the world. I do think everybody just has certain abilities. And for me, it's telling stories. I used to always get bothered when I was young that I'm like, oh man, like everybody thinks I'm the bad guy. Like every time I go to somebody's house, they're like, that Tom Ziegler, he's trouble. But I'm so glad that I was trouble. And I'm so glad that I had kind of an over the top personality growing up because it gave me these events. It gave me my friends. It gave me everything that I hold near and dear to my heart as memories. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to die. When you're 6 feet in the ground, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this all just blacks out and I don't remember anything. But I hope that something spiritual in me that's eternal gets to take all these memories with me. And I'd rather make all the memories and be able to look back on a life that I lived to the fullest versus just a shell of a human being that I never really wanted to be, but I became that to try to fit in. So, wow, I just unpacked all that shit for no reason. But that's today's episode. I love you all. I think I covered everything. Talks with Tom.
Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street getting paid, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Ooh, sexy. That's a great song right there. Mic check. And we're good.